Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is Ronnie Isaiah and David Kilimnick,
Shalom.
Jerusalem News TV,
Hey.
the radio program. Last week we brought to you live news from the war in Israel.
And this week we're going to be bringing you live news from the war in Israel.
Have you heard about this recent thing about Mashal? Mashal, he is the head of Hamas. He runs this enemy terrorist organization, and he was a star on the last Charlie Rose show.
Yeah.
So, and Mashal, it's interesting what he had to say over there, that he doesn't fight Jews. Terrorists don't kill Jews. Missiles that the terrorists use kill Jews.
Yeah, that's a good point. They're killing, people kill, but really, are they killing? Are they killing, or is it the miss? And he's right. It's the missile.
Yeah, terrorists don't kill Jews. Missiles that the terrorist
Suicide
fires.
bombers might kill people. Yes, you could say suicide bombers kill people.
Suicide bombers
But
do
you
not
can't
kill
say-
people. It's their suicide bomb vest that kills people.
Yeah.
So guns don't kill people. It's the
Guns,
bullets
yes.
inside the guns.
It is the bullets inside the guns, and that's a valid point. That's a valid point. He also is not against Israel. He's against occupation.
Northern
Teilat.
Israel.
Teilat. That's where the occupation is, around Kiryat Shmona, Teilat. He's against Jews living in that area.
So what you're saying basically is occupation is what somebody does for a living. So what's your occupation? I don't live in Israel because that would be somebody else's occupation.
Yes.
I understand. And when you say from the Golan Heights to Eilat, so you're talking about pretty much the entire country of Israel.
Well, yeah, that's what he's against. He's not against living alongside Jews if the Jews are living in Gaza itself.
So if you go to Mashal, let's say I was Charlie Rose and I would ask him, what's your occupation? He would say, well, my occupation is not living in Israel. I crossed the border from Tel Aviv to Yaffo last time I was there, and there was almost no customs, nothing. It was just an open border, and it was just you felt free over there.
You do kind of feel free, and it feels, in a sense, like you are connecting with the people. You see the Arabic, the letters, and you feel like, hey, something. I don't know what the signs are saying. I can tell you that.
If you did, you would know what their occupation was.
And that's true. There's a good line right there. The whole occupation being a job.
What's your occupation? Because in
What's
French,
your occupation?
it probably sounds better.
On a serious note, because this is a very serious program, I do believe that this that was an interesting interview. I don't know, what did John Kerry do? What's the John Kerry story?
He came and he's trying to work out a ceasefire for the Israelis, not for the.
He's trying to work out a ceasefire for the
one-sided
unilateral, unilateral
right, exactly.
ceasefire. Again, we like doing those.
Well, nobody else will listen to him. The Arabs don't listen to him. Only Israel listens to him. Obama huffed and puffed, and now the policy is only to return fire, not to continue with the war as usual, which was a very light war. It was like war light. It was like sugar-free war.
What is that? How can you?
It was NutraSweet.
How can you, seriously, this unilateral ceasefire stuff has got to stop. I'm sorry. You want to know why this bad stuff happens? It's because we do these unilateral ceasefires. And, and I am a military expert, if I may say. Okay, I do have my military expertise. And I understand that when you allow one side to plan, and while all you're planning is your own defensive, while not stopping them from planning, what you're really doing is you're empowering them.
Letting them plan. All day long.
Stop empowering them.
And this is how we're empowering them. 10 days ago, we started our ground incursion, and then Egypt and U.S. brokered a ceasefire. Of course, neither of them are in the war, but I guess the U.S. and Egypt got together and said, between us, we've brokered a ceasefire. Now let's push Israel Now, Israel has 43 casualties, 43 soldiers. And they're saying that some 1,000 Palestinians have died in Gaza.
Yes, I feel bad about the Palestinians.
But wait a second. When Gilad Shalit was a soldier, it was 1,000 Arabs for one Jew. So by all right, there should be 43,000 dead Palestinians, and there's only 1,000. So who's really getting the best of it here? Who's really getting the payoff here? It's not Israel.
when it comes to like everybody talking like this like you're putting your citizens in harm's way. That's what you're doing. Okay, you want to know why there's bad stuff happening because you are trying to attack. When you're trying to attack a country, well, I don't understand what's wrong with a country defending itself. And this is just getting old. It's old news because we've been having this conversation over here for around 70 years in Israel, and still they just any chance they have to put down the Jews for defending itself. That's
Well, it's just I just did before we leave the whole Mashal on Charlie Rose thing. Mashal said over there, life is not a prerequisite. Life is a right for our people in Palestine. This is a collective punishment. We need to lift the siege. We have to have a port. We have to have an airport. Now, what do you think he's going to do with an airport? And now, obviously,
but I'm sure if they had an airport, American Airlines would be flying into there. You'd have everybody, American Delta, everybody would be happy flying into their Continental.
Virgin, 70 Virgin. You would have a lot flying in there.
Isn't it 72?
Is it 72 Virgin?
I think it's 72. I've heard 72. And a lot of people are misquoting 70, and there's really no reason to.
Virgin Airlines would have 72 runways. There was a woman on JetBlue that was identified recently. The story was a story about a Jewish doctor named Lisa Rosenberg who was kicked off of a JetBlue flight 454 for allegedly speaking offensively toward Palestinians on her cell phone before takeoff.
Well, let's hear. I mean, what did she say?
Okay, you want to know? You really want to know what she said? According to the Palm Beach Post, Miss Rosenberg said a woman approached her, identified her as a Palestinian, and said she was offended by Miss Rosenberg's mobile phone conversation. Then words were exchanged. According to the airline blog, Mrs. Rosenberg she was spewing hateful comments towards the Palestinian passenger in seat 9C, and that the situation was Dr. Rosenberg was in 7E, and the Palestinian woman was in 9C. That's as far as the report went.
So there was 2 rows between them. So there was kind of like there should have been somebody like a peacekeeper between them trying to make it better.
If the UN was sitting somewhere between 9C and 7E, it could have been avoided, the international incident.
Wait, what is this? Like, you can't say. What did she say?
Here's the quotes. Was that you on the plane? No. Do you deny that it was you? Yes. I'm not the person on that plane. Are you 59 and a public school teacher? I am not. I'm younger. 58, 57. I'm younger. It wasn't me. And that was the.
That was what happened.
That was the abusive language.
What was the? That was it.
What
did she say that
Miss
was
Rosenberg, Miss Rosenberg was actually called a Zionist pig, which
that's allowed.
Mrs. Kipnis, the Arab lady, denied that. Denied calling her a Zionist pig. She probably just called her a Zionist calf, or maybe a Zionist goat. But pigs, as you know, Muslims do not hold by pigs.
Oh, that was the offensive part of it. But the pig, yeah. Why wouldn't Zionist have been enough of a curse? You Zionist.
That probably got her stopped and frisked at security, but I don't know how much farther that would. One blogger called the bitchy pundit, responding to the article by saying, "I want Janie Kipnis to get the F out of my city."
Like, obviously, calling her a Zionist pig, she doesn't get in trouble. Like, the Palestinian lady, or Palestinian American, or PA, as they're known, she did not...
She just says derogatory things.
What are the derogatory things?
And she implied that the Palestinian woman might be carrying a bomb.
Like, why are you... Well, sure, she got mad at her call, right? Her call was, like, Mazel Tov. How dare you say Mazel Tov?
It turns out that Janie Kipnis, at the end of the day, was not even a Palestinian. She was just trying to make a ruckus to stand up for the Palestinians. It was all a big hoax, and that's exactly what the world media wanted, and that created a media stir, of course, because the media doesn't want to report on the crimes of terrorists. They want to report on how impolite a Jewish person treats a Palestinian, even if they really didn't.
They didn't put in the hoax.
No, they didn't.
But obviously, the article deals with.
Everybody knows it was a hoax now, but back then, boy.
Did
that probably started the Intifada.
This was an interesting thing that I ran into. That Gal Gadot is Wonder Woman.
Gal Gadot Gal Gadot is an Israeli woman, beautiful Israeli actor and model, and she landed the part as Wonder Woman. And what I've done is I've gone ahead and put together a theme song that I think they might want to use. At first, it was in the tune of Hava Nagila, but I thought that was a little too much for Wonder Woman. It goes like this, a little bit like this. It goes tick, 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 tick. Here comes Super Wonder Woman now. She's gonna save the whole wide world. She's Super Wonder Woman girl. She's Super Wonder Woman girl. Like that,
awesome. That's really great.
With a Seinfeld kind of bass lick on the end of it.
And they didn't take it?
Well, there's too much girl there, woman girl. It was that's probably why they didn't return my call.
That's messed up. That's messed up because Wonder Woman.
But Israelis are taking over Hollywood. It was just Jewish people, but now it's Israeli Jews.
Oh, that's great.
Who are coming in.
Well, it's 2 years though. It's 2 years before the intended release of this movie. Like, why are they making such a big? How long does it take to make a movie?
It takes a long time. Some movies take 5-7 years to make. It's not uncommon. For some reason, Steven Seagal could make a movie in about 4 hours, and he just spins them out very quickly. But most people, it would take minimum of 2 years.
Well, Seagal's awesome. Seagal, you watch his movie, you know it's reality. Like, that's what it is. It's reality. And that's how he spins it. That's how he makes it happen. And he's got his lines down. You know, some people don't have their lines down. You got to work with these actors that don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, Seagal is an accomplished movie maker in the B realm, and he doesn't spend a lot on each movie, about the cost of dinner for 3 at Taco Bell, but he does put them out regularly, 4, 5, 6 a week, so it's pretty good for him.
Well, let's talk about, it'd be really great.
He's Jewish, right?
Steven Seagal?
Yeah.
Seagal. Yeah, it's enough. I mean, just his father's enough, I think. Just his father, but we're talking about culture and art and arts and entertainment. We have here just running through some Paul Anka's. This is on the Ynet. Paul Anka's Israel show rescheduled. So we see that there's no shows happening here, and which is really good. I think that's best to keep out the people that because musicians apparently don't like Israel. There's something about Israel that musicians don't like. I think it's that they can make more fans everywhere else in the world, where if they say that they hate Israel, then they'll get those fans.
Oh, you know what? The guy from Pink Floyd, he doesn't like Israel, the Jewish people. What's his name? Roger Waters.
Oh yeah.
I have a friend just sent me a song, just another prick in the wall.
Yeah.
Hey, Roger, leave them Jews alone. They redid the song to make it kind of
nice.
like a. Yeah, we should put that on. I actually have it here.
Roger, leave us kids alone. Oh no, you're just another brick in the wall. Oh no, you're just another brick in the wall.
Lead singer of Pearl Jam during England concert. So that's Eddie Vedder, goes off and says, looking for a reason to go across borders and take over land that doesn't belong to them. They don't get our taxes to drop bombs on children.
But I swear to God, there's some people out there who are looking for a reason to kill. They're looking for a reason to go across borders and take over land that doesn't belong to them, and they should get the out and mind their own business.
Way to go, Eddie. Eddie, speaking your opinion and your voice.
That's Eddie Van Halen?
No, that's Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam. Don't call me daughter. Don't wait to. I think because something. I think that these singers and Rihanna put in a good anti-Israel word on
Rihanna. She's married to Jay-Z, right? To
Jay-Z?
Big Jay-Z.
Maybe I don't.
Or is that Beyonce? That's Beyonce.
It might. It's.
That's Beyonce. That's Beyonce. Rihanna's not married to Jay-Z.
Well, she says free Palestine. Then prays for peace. Like this. Do she even know what Palestine doesn't exist right now? Does she even know this? Palestine went out in 1948.
Yeah, no, she's misinformed. What she has is what we call a false clue, which is worse than no clue at all. She's just fishing up the wrong rope. Is what's going on with her, but that's all right.
cancels Israel's show, and which look, something fine, cancel your show. But once you have a show going on, explain to me where you get off, throwing in these little political opinions of which you know nothing about. It's basically saying like, I saw CNN yesterday, and I believe that it's time for Israel to not exist anymore. And
Exactly.
don't call me daughter, not fit to be.
Is that a country song? That's Pearl Jam?
It's
What
Pearl
you did?
Jam.
Yeah. Wow. I was thinking Cat Stevens. And also Cat Stevens, what does he have to do with hard-headed women? What does he know about hard-headed women,
So you're pro, Ron, you're not...
When a show gets cut down, when a show gets stopped, listen. The report. Hamas planned a Rosh Hashanah show that would open up through Gaza tunnels. They want to do a show for us, some kind of apple and honey thing, pull the curtains on a tunnel, and we're closing that show. We're closing that show for good.
Okay, so you cancel shows for reasons. I understand that, but why? I'm trying to figure out if you can please go along with this and tell me where they're going with it, why an entertainer feels the need in the middle of his music show, which has nothing to do with Israel, okay, it just feels the need to start spewing out.
It's a massive attack on Israel. Some of it is in tunnels, coming through tunnels, and some of it's coming through the media. And it's the same driving element. It's the same hatred of Jews and just blood in the eyes of these people that want nothing more than the destruction of the Jewish people. That's what's driving this thing. Whether it's Gaza tunnels or Eddie Murphy in concert.
Eddie Murphy? What are you bringing in Eddie Murphy? What did Eddie Murphy say?
Well, I thought that's what you were talking about. Whatever, Cat Stevens,
Eddie
Eddie Murphy, however it's going to go with the concert, it's the same thing. Pink Floyd, Roger Waters, same thing.
Okay, there you go. And then you have Tony Bennett to perform in Israel. At least he's coming out here. Guns N' Roses.
Now Tony Bennett's probably so old he doesn't even realize there's a war going on.
Yeah.
Probably nobody told him, and he's just skipping.
Yeah,
He's
he
loving
doesn't
it.
even understand.
No, he's way up
60
there.
years. He's been involved in music for 60 years.
Which makes him 120. Only
Okay.
got in the business when
Baruch
we were talking.
Hashem. You should be blessed. But then you have the Guns N' Roses. Tikva guy plays it backstage. That's news because he played it backstage.
But nobody sees you when you play backstage except for the people that are backstage. So I don't get that. Don't understand how that what's going on with that. Just because somebody plays backstage. Let's get back to the news of the hour. Got a lot of stories here, but for some reason, David, they're all about the war. I don't know
There's
why.
Jon Stewart, where Jon Stewart's basically showing on his show how Israel comes and warns people that they're going to be bombing, where they're going to be bombing. Instead of just bombing, warns them, kind of like says, get out of here. And they changed it around on the Daily Show to show like, you only have a second to get out. And how can they only show people that they have a second to get out, and then they bomb them? It's basically like the warning shot means nothing. That was the big news on the Jon Stewart show. Aside from harassing Hillary Clinton for saying anything positive about Israel. And,
how dare she?
Yes, Hillary Clinton came out on the show and said, well, maybe if the Gaza people, maybe if their government or whatever's over there would have spent the money on their citizens, on building infrastructure, maybe not destroyed what Israel gave them in regards to agriculture.
Oh, that must have really upset Jon Stewart.
Oh,
that
he
probably
was-
got his goat right there.
Oh, as a Jew?
How dare her tell them and his audience that the money should have been spent not on cement tunnels, rather on infrastructure? How
Oh.
dare she imply that
Disgusting.
any of that American money should go to anything other than warmongering?
Who is she to come out there and suggest to Jon Stewart that that Israel is not sticking to political correctness? It was disgusting. It was totally John. And the crazy part about it with Hillary was when she did suggest that, it didn't even faze him. It didn't even faze Jon Stewart that maybe Israel is in the right. He was so offended as a Jew. He was so offended as a Jew by Hillary Clinton.
And you know what? It seems like it might have been set up. It could be that we're going to hear about the Hillary Clinton Jon Stewart ticket in about a year and a half, and maybe they'll be running together for something, because it just seemed like it was staged. It was too natural.
Too natural what?
Too natural for him to be so upset at her comment and for her to support the Jewish people, maybe for the first time ever.
Oh, he was just like almost every other. I'm sorry. Yes, he was like a lot of American Jews. American Jews were cheering like, "Yeah, destroy Israel. Israel doesn't deserve to exist. Yeah, get rid of Israel. This is. It's a shame that Israel is trying to live in the Middle East. Mashal is correct. They shouldn't be. This occupation of Israel in Israel has to stop. Israel has to get out of Israel."
I wish that we could just send you over there to speak to the Congress or both houses, and of course there wouldn't be probably any kind of standing ovations or anything like that, but they would have to listen to you, to listen to some common sense for once in their probably lives.
That's the great thing about being in Congress. Once they give you that stage, they have to listen.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Unless, of course, they're on hiatus, in which case there's nobody in the room and nobody's listening.
They're not really listening. But then this Michael Levin comes along. Michael Levin starts with this whole Jon Stewart. Michael Levin's like, how can you say this? They gave them a warning shot, and you're turning it all negative.
It's not negative. It's positive for Jon Stewart. His ratings are skyrocketing.
Oh, he's loving it.
He's the number one show right now on Al Jazeera. In Saudi Arabia and Qatar, they're playing back-to-back Jon Stewart shows.
Constantly.
Iran
sing it in Arabic.
Iran wants to bring. They translate the show to Berber, straight up Berber, and it's a very, very popular show in places like Turkey and
but that's
Lebanon.
He's getting ratings, which is really positive. It's huge. It's huge.
Yeah.
And finally, thanks to Jon Stewart, anti-Semitism is coming to a halt. A total halt. People are love Jews now. They do. They're like, go John. They're all pro, Jews.
Well, he gets like 100% likes on those pages, like the Kill Jews page, and the Bloody Jew is a Good Jew page. Almost everybody likes him. Almost everybody in the group, and they've got 17 nations of groups there that are just big supporters.
Which and that's what it's about. John knows how to get the good supporters of the Jewish people and of the Arab Jewish people living in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, we should have him on, just for the heck of it.
Yeah, we're gonna have Jon Stewart on.
We'll try to get him on next week for a little bit of a interview, and find out why it is that he hates. He's such a self-effacing Jew. Why he hates the Jewish people so much. Him himself, a Jew. Maybe we can get him on together with the head of the United Nations and John Kerry.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, maybe they could do a cheers together.
They can broker a peace talk, and make it happen with Egypt. A peace talk with Egypt.
Have you heard about this? The brokering of the ceasefire was done by America and Turkey. And who else did they
now
include?
It's Turkey? I thought
they got Turkey. They got Turkey and they got Qatar.
I thought it was Egypt.
And well, you know what? Qatar. That's where Mashal is hiding out. That's where he goes and hides out. He gets, America is going to give them fighters, choppers, jets, missiles to Qatar.
So why is Mashal there?
That's where he hides. He's not. They can't get to him there. The Mossad can't get to him there. Qatar is the biggest, of course, after Iran, the biggest supporter of Hamas. And this is what the United States is aligning with.
The United States is like, yeah, we're on your side. We're on your side. Here, just take a few. Take some of the weapons. Take some of the weapons. Use them. Yeah, use them to kill Jews. Use them to kill Jews, however many you can. As long as we're left out of it. World War II, we're not going to do anything. We're going to stay out of that. We're going to stay out of that just because it's just because Jews are dying. Jews are dying. Yeah, I said it. I said it. Let's stay out of independence war. Israel. Let's okay. Britain. I love Britain too. Let's just let them defend themselves. Let them be attacked by all sides. Don't worry. As long as Jews are able to die. As long as
God's problem.
There's some positive. Here, while you're
Let's see if
while
we
we're
can
looking,
find
there's-
something positive.
There's really,
in it.
there
It's
was
really difficult. Here's one: Israel's culture scene hit by the war in Gaza.
There you go. Okay, now we're changing the
there's-
topic. What do you expect? Finally, and it's not finally. It's bad. I'm sorry. I was naive. I was thinking, we gotta trust people. And this is for years. And every time, you just want to live that life where you have your home entertainment system. You want to live that good life. And then next thing you know, there's people, you start to realize, yeah, people really do want to kill you. And you're like, where is this coming from? It's there. And now there's an awakening of it. So maybe, more these left-wing Israelis are thinking, hey, well, there were rockets coming in, but they were only coming to Sderot and Beersheba. That's fine. That's fine. But how dare they try to bomb the left-wing Israelis? How dare they try to bomb left-wing Jews? Now it's like, and they call that hatred. No, it's not more hatred. There's no more hatred in Israel. What it is it's more just reality. Finally, they're seeing that there is evil in this world, and it's wrong. Said it. Evil is wrong.
Evil is wrong, and it has been awoken, if that's a word. Taglit Birthright in the news, not allowing their birthright trips to go to Tel Aviv anymore.
Well, what are they showing them in Tel Aviv anyways?
The beach, and then they get to see a couple of different museums over there.
Yeah, there's some cool museums. Some really nice museums, like the underground museum. Then you have like that blind museum, where you get to eat and not see your food.
That's a very interesting concept, that you go in and you have an entire meal in the dark.
Oh, that's great.
And I'm thinking, what would go really well with that is blind dates.
Oh yeah.
Because a lot of times the hardest thing about a blind date is when you see the person. That could be shocking, scary. And
very bad.
Sometimes it's not what you were hoping for. But in this kind of a restaurant where the lights are out, you just continue the status quo. You're not going to find out what they look like because there's no lights on. You have a better chance of finding out what you're eating than what your partner looks like over there.
And it makes you realize, maybe they don't have it that bad.
And you get to know the person through conversation before you ever see their face. So maybe, you could something can spark, even if it's going to be a visual.
Are you turning into one of those matchmakers who's trying to make a bad sale?
No,
that's what it sounds like.
Not at all. Not at all.
Let's not see each other. That's the idea of a blind date. The first thing you want to do is see the person, so you just know right away. Am I spending the 80 shekel, or how much? Probably 160 shekel for each plate at that restaurant.
Well, it's
am I spending 350 shekel on this date, or maybe we're just going for pizza, and she's paying for half of it. You want to be able to make that decision before. And now you're suggesting go to the blind.
I think everybody deserves a first date. And some people, when they go on a blind date, so they have their friend call up after 5 minutes and they give a bad excuse of why they have to leave if they don't like the way the person looks. We've seen it in those movies.
That's wrong. But yeah, they deserve the first date, but does everybody deserve to put down a good 200 to 400 shekel on a first date?
Go Dutch.
Nobody, they're not willing to. Come on.
At least people will put their personalities on the table and be real without having the inhibition of knowing what the other person looks like for the first time, which could be scary.
Well, that's a problem. People look at dates here. That's the problem right there. People look at dates as not a meeting. It's a meeting. It's a blind date. It's not a date. It's a meeting. It's the first time you're meeting somebody. That's the rule on a blind date. Change the concept of a blind date. And they're not going to accept going Dutch, Ron. Nobody accepts going Dutch. Even my friends don't accept going Dutch. Do you accept going Dutch?
I went out with the Dutch girl for quite some time. It was in a kibbutz, and things got hot and heavy. But
because she was paying for
she was not Jewish, and it was a big problem there.
Is that Dutch tradition? Is that what it is?
They like to have fruit with their meat, if that makes any sense to you.
So it's basically they're paying for the fruit. Is that what it is?
The funny smell of cheese to them is aromatic and somewhat of a stimulant.
But the blind museum, exceptionally, as if people like that experience.
It is quite an experience.
I don't like the concept of not being able to see my food.
And some foods, they try to make it look real nice, but they're lacking a little bit in the taste. But because they look so nice, you're willing to you know, shove it in your pie hole.
And then they charge more.
And
They
they-
charge
for sure.
more for this food. In the meantime, they're not even paying for your electricity.
Oh, they're tying the carrot slices together with a nice little bow tie, so they expect you to pay 10 times what a carrot is usually charged.
At the Blind Museum, that's interesting.
Now we have another article here about something we reported on last week. The organization behind events, we're talking about the Jerusalem Season of Culture that was postponed. They had a big debate as to why they should close. Here we have a quote. We had to look deep inside ourselves as leaders and artists, this lady said. We asked ourselves about our responsibility, and it became very clear that we needed to react to the violence around us.
So the dancers have to fight. Basically, the dancers have to be out there on and kind of like fight back.
No, she wanted to
singers.
react. She says, we want to react. Her quote is, there's a lot of pain and destruction right now. We want to react to that. We want to send a message that during time of war, we don't paint. We don't do shows. We're not open.
You stop being all righteous, self-righteous.
Oh,
Is that what it is? No, her.
I don't.
That sounds so self-righteous. Oh, during times of war, we don't do shit. During what times of war are there no shows going on? There are shows always going on.
You know what? You're right. She's offering refund for all 7 people who bought tickets.
That's nice.
But they were sensitive to the destruction that was going on, the pain.
Stop with the pain. I'm sorry. That's not the reason why they canceled. They canceled the event, but of course she says that because she wants to look like, oh, look,
Ticket sales.
It sounds. It's just. I'm sorry.
No ticket sales. That's why they closed it, right?
Yes.
That's what I was thinking.
There's no ticket sales, and also maybe it also has to do with the fact that when there's a siren, everybody has to run somewhere. Where are they going to run in a show that's in like an amphitheater or in a show that's in a bigger theater?
Yeah. Their lead trumpet player was called in on Milloween, so they didn't want to. They scrapped the whole thing.
That's a reason too. But no, but just deal with the reality of it. Just say what it is.
But they want it to look good. They want to look like a gem, like Angel. So they
we canceled. Please, they wouldn't have canceled anything.
Says they went through a long process of debate, discussing before coming to conclusions to postpone the performances. So it was like a week of them sitting and going over it, pulling their hair out. Why should they? Until finally.
They decided that nobody bought tickets.
With broken hearts and broken bank accounts. Oh, we weren't going to go to that. We're not going to do any more war stories today. But they give you an up-to-date minute by minute of what's going on there.
Well, that's what the news does, Ron.
Yeah.
The news focuses on a war when a war is going on. And that's basically where they put their focus, on the war. Can you explain to me why we have to send underwear to the... Why are we sending
I thought that the underwear was for the Arabs. After we bombed them, they would need new underwear. But
that might be what it is.
What's her name's also in the news here. We have Joan Rivers. She's behind us. Her joke is that if New Jersey were firing rockets into New York, we would wipe them out.
That's not a joke. Who says that's a joke?
That's her.
I saw it. It was she was caught on the spot by somebody.
That's
by
kind of
TZM.
funny. It's very funny, right? New York would wipe out New Jersey if New Jersey was firing rockets at New York. That's kind of funny because it's the same country. So it shows the parody of her sense of humor. Joan Rivers, who is behind Israel, even with her sense of humor.
And even though she's Jewish, she's still behind Israel, which is amazing.
Something Jon Stewart can learn from her.
Yeah, probably most Jews.
Another wonderful show.
Yes.
I want to thank you, David Kilimnick.
Thank you, Ron Isaiah. Thank you.
And stay tuned for Jerusalem News TV, the TV show, and we'll be back next week with another radio show for you live.
Amen.
Jerusalem News TV, signing out.
Have a hot day.